Between 1964 and 1973, the United States dropped more than 2 million tons of bombs on Laos. That's more than the bombs dropped on Germany and Japan combined during World War II. Today, those bombs still haunt the landscape. Over 80 million unexploded bombs remain buried in the soil, but somehow life still goes on. As a result, I've decided to visit the most bombed country on Earth to see how life still somehow goes on. If I asked you, where is the most bombed country in the world, where would you honestly guess? Iraq, perhaps. Syria, perhaps. Maybe even Vietnam, because of the Vietnam War. All wrong. It's actually here, in the absolutely stunning country of Laos. Well, today we're getting the Chinese-built high-speed train up to Luang Prabang, but first we're going to explore a few villages and a few viewpoints here in the tiny town in central Laos, Vang Vieng. So join me today as we do a bit of a wild adventure through this pretty mysterious country. Join me. Very good. Very good. Oh!
Is it safe?
I think so. I've certainly had worse views behind me. Ah, cup chai. While we're walking up to the first village and the first viewpoint, let me tell you about a few culture shocks that I've had here on my first few days here in Laos, just so you know what to expect if you do come here. I mean, the first out of two would be just how laid back and quiet it is. Thailand's quite fairly noisy, fairly lively, super cool night markets. Here it doesn't have that same atmosphere, but better or worse depending on what sort of style travel you're after. If you want somewhere peaceful, look no further. This is one of the best places I've ever been in terms of peaceful. But sometimes you want a lively night market, or people to say hello to you, or you want to chat with some locals. Here it's a little bit different. People are a little bit more reserved. In fact, quite a lot more reserved in comparison. So that's sort of the main shock I've had at first. And secondly is the people are very different here compared to Thailand. I assumed all of Southeast Asia had a similar sort of way of life, but it is quite different here, and the history of Laos is very different. Colonized by the French, heavy Chinese influence today, the most bombed country on earth. 260 million bombs were dropped here alone. That's so much more than Vietnam. It's crazy, and as a result, maybe they're a little bit suspicious, a little bit more reserved of foreigners. They're just a little bit more reserved. So the friendliness of Laos, especially the men, not really the women, is quite different, at least on my first few days. I mean, as I say, we're changing city today, so maybe it'll change. But my second thing, which is a semi-gripe, but it does come with the positive of it being a lot more peaceful, is that the people are just not as friendly, basically. Quite a lot more reserved, especially the men. The women are very friendly though. This is going to be the most scary and sketchy bridge I've been on in a long time. Look, just everywhere there's these holes. Guys, there's another one. There is in fact another one. On my foot, you could easily. Oh my god, what is that? Holy moly. I mean, talk about, this is like an obstacle course, but you just got to put your foot on before you put any weight on, just to double check that. Oh. So what I've noticed with these villages in Laos, it's sort of one big open farm really. Like there's loads of chickens and sometimes even like water buffaloes and cows just sort of roaming the streets. It's super cool to see. You can just see people on their front yards like feeding the birds and stuff like that. And every time you stop talking, it's just incredibly peaceful. All you can hear is the wildlife, if that. Well, you don't see a sign like that in England, do you? Look at the view, literally every direction, and the camera does not do it justice, there's no way, but we'll find a better viewpoint than this. Every direction I look in is just some of the most magnificent mountains, some of the most magnificent farmland I've ever seen. I'm going to try and stick to the main path though over there. Around 30% of the bombs, the cluster bombs to be precise, the Americans dropped here during the Vietnam War sort of era, haven't even exploded. So hundreds and hundreds of farmers in the Laos countryside, which is where we are, die every year, unfortunately. All due to differences in ideologies. and people in the fields who had nothing to do with it, didn't probably even know what capitalism or communism was, had to perish. Sabadi. Oh. Okay, I must go, doggies. Bye-bye. I was gonna film an ambient scene because the view back there looked incredible. Then the dogs looked kind of scary. Then it turns out they just wanted to lick me. But now I've already started walking back. So in order to not look awkward, I'm gonna find another viewpoint for you. But we'll just edit this bit out. Here in Laos as well, it is a mainly Buddhist country. It's only about 66% to be precise, but nonetheless you will find quite a few Buddhist temples, maybe not as much as Thailand, but it's incredible to see the detail on these buildings. You know, can't understand the language for the life of me. I know a few words to speak, but in terms of reading Lao or Thai or anything like that, it is squiggles to me. I'm afraid. The language is quite similar to Thai in terms of like hello, thank you, and basic words like that. In fact, I think a lot of Thai people can sort of semi-work out Lao people, and Lao people can semi-work out Thai people, depending on what part of Thailand they're from, because there are dialects, of course. Look at this on the side of the road. It's a little farmhouse. I think it's almost like a mini restaurant as well. Probably a bed or two in the back as well. That's the thing with a lot of places in Southeast Asia. You'll notice that there's some pretty crazy poverty. People don't have as much as the UK, for example, but I felt a lot safer here than anywhere else in the UK. People, even in Laos and compared to Thailand, they're not very friendly, are still very, very friendly, very, very happy people, you know. So, and Thailand even more so, 10 times so. So it's interesting to see, isn't it? Does money make you happy? I think it solves your money problems, but there are more problems in life than just money. Oh my god.
I don't like he.
Yeah.
Every night, you know.
All the time.
All the time.
All
yeah.
the time. Spotty. Ah, capture.
Very big.
Here you've got all the, I'm guessing it's firewood, but to be honest, because it's quite a hot country, right now it's 35 degrees as I'm filming this, the chances are they might actually be building something. I'm always seeing people on their front gardens building stuff like fences, roofs, shelters out of banana leaves, all sorts. It's just incredible to see how ingenuitive humans can be. It's really fascinating, truly. I mean, look at that, there's just some sort of, I don't know if makeshift's the word, but a massive sort of external dish there to get some TV. Sabadi. Now, the first course of action I'm going to take, hire a motorbike, then we're going to go up those mountains. I can show you a viewpoint of pretty much Phang Vieng as a town for you guys, but also all the nature surrounding it. It should be very beautiful. Let's see if I can find somewhere for a good price. That's not going to scam me. I've heard mixed things about this town and motorbike hires, so yeah, let's try and sort it out. Good luck.
Thank you.
You might need it.
Will we safe?
I think so. You just got to go fairly fast, but not too fast.
Okay.
But there's so many of those holes, it's worth walking it. So yeah. Good luck.
Thanks.
Bye. Okay guys, I've taken out 2 million with a 30k fee. 30k is about £1, so it's a fair bit of money. It's about, what, £60? I'm not the best at maths, it's about £60. So the exchange rate here is very similar to Vietnamese dong for those of you who have been to Vietnam, which is also about 30,000 Vietnamese dong to pounds. It's what you'll find here in Laos as well, is that pretty much all the hotels, although you can book in advance, the rooms might not even be available, so it doesn't really matter. You might as well just show up on the day. It's a bit cheaper that way here, unlike Thailand as well. On top of that, you're always paying cash here as well, because some of the transaction fees, if you're paying with card, are pretty extortionate. So yeah, BCEL Bank, that's the best one to go for. Yeah, 60 quid, 2 million. now a multi-millionaire. Miranda always hits the spot here in Laos. Same with Vietnam. It's just like, it's a better version of Fanta, honestly, it really is. Not a bloody clue how much that costs, but I think generally here it's about 20k, so less than a quid for a refreshing, zesty drink. Always hits the spot. 70. Whoa, tricks! Very good. Very good. Whoa! Currently walking up a mountain and it's heat of the day, it's about 35 degrees. I don't know if the camera does justice to this, but it is insanely steep and there's no real stairs. I'm out of breath, but I'll meet you at the top when I can finally catch my breath. Well, I've certainly had worse views behind me. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that, does it? It's got to be, out of the 41, 42 countries I've been to, it's got to be one of, in terms of natural beauty, the most stunning one I've ever been to. It's a bit like Halong Bay in Vietnam, just without the water, but you can see all the farms, all the rice fields, water buffaloes, animals. Incredibly serene. I'm here now in the Chinese built and Chinese owned railway station here in Vang Vieng, and yeah, it's a very interesting experience. Literally everything is in Chinese, everyone here is Chinese, so yeah, let's get on the train and head to Luang Prabang. Good morning from the French colonial city of Luang Prabang here in central northern Laos. Let's go for a little walk and explore and see what we can find. It's a lovely sunny day here. The architecture is absolutely incredible. I much prefer it to Vang Vieng already. Let's go for a little walk and check it out. You might have seen on the news maybe last week by the time this video is produced that a few tourists, or quite a few tourists in the town I was last in Vang Vieng, have actually died of methanol poisoning. It's kind of like, it used to be a party town, now not so much, it's calmed down an awful lot, but there's still, you know, one or two clubs and bars there. A few people have been getting cheap vodka, I guess, or cheap cocktails or something like that, too good to be true, right? And really unfortunately have been poisoned, and some have even died, so it feels very surreal being here in a country that's on the news back home for a bad reason. Honestly, it puts a sour taste in your mouth. Honestly, it feels so good to be out of Vang Vieng. That place was surrounded by insane natural beauty, some of the best I've ever seen, but it was just so dusty. Here, it feels like you're in a mixture of Asia and Europe. It gives me Hoi An vibes from Vietnam. It's absolutely stunning. Like, look at all this French architecture you can see here. It's probably someone's hotel, but absolutely stunning, isn't it? It's definitely more of like an upmarket sort of destination. Things do cost a little bit more, whereas Vang Vieng's solely backpacker. There are a lot of backpackers here, but there's also more of an older crowd as well, because it's a very historical place. I mean, it used to be the royal capital of Laos when the French were here. Then of course in, I want to say 1976, the communists came and they moved it down to Vientiane. So they moved their capital city, but this is what remains of the former capital city. And my God, is it very beautiful. This is what I like about Laos. No one really hassles you, or very few people do at least. And there's so much architectural beauty in Luang Prabang. It's another reason why this city's so much better than Vang Vieng. All these crazy big Buddhist temples everywhere. We'll walk past these guys. Maybe one more hassle. Probably not though. We'll see. It just seems a lot more laid back here. Not just in Luang Prabang, but in Laos as a whole compared to say like Thailand or other Asian countries, right? So very peaceful. If you want somewhere to relax, seriously, look no further, because you're going to find more relaxing in Southeast Asia, which is renowned for being quite loud, right? People are still fairly friendly. As I said yesterday, there is definitely still, even in Luang Prabang, where people are definitely a bit more friendly, there is that sort of difference between men and women, where the men just seem to be very cold, actually. You'll say hello to someone, no smile, no response, even if you speak their language, which I find quite weird compared to Thailand, where if you said "Sawadee krap" to anyone, they would hug you. So yeah, it is very different in comparison. It's so weird being here. Like, I just assumed Laos would be very untouristy, off the beaten path. Only about 2 million people visit here per year, but as you can see both behind me and in front of me, it's absolutely crowded. I think with this trip, the places I went in Laos were the most touristy parts of a non-touristy country, and then all of the parts of Thailand were the non-touristy parts of a touristy country. But can you blame them? I mean, let me show you this temple. I didn't really want to pay to get in, plus my mate's going to wake up and we've got to go to see some waterfall. But nonetheless, see if I can get you up here. In terms of architecture, it doesn't get much better than a Buddhist temple, does it? Absolutely crazy. Anyway, we're going to the historic centre now. I'll show you some French colonial influence here on Luang Prabang. Most of this entire street is full of these old French buildings. You can tell they're French because of the old like French shutters, if you will, on the top where the windows, to keep all the heat out and all the darkness in. In terms of beauty, 10 out of 10. I mean, once the Chinese tourists, which I've never seen so many before in my life, have gone, it's actually quite a peaceful place. It does kind of take away from the atmosphere of being in a very peaceful country, in a peaceful town, when it's too touristy, and maybe that's why the locals don't care too much about tourists, I don't know, but nonetheless, arguably the most stunning place I've been in a very long time, for sure. UNESCO World Heritage Site. And in here you've actually got the EU flag, the French flag and the Lao flag. A bit peculiar, isn't it? Look at this building here, all the different colours of the shutters and whatnot, but you know, you don't feel like you're in Asia at all, you feel like you're in France or something. And another thing you'll notice here in Luang Prabang compared to say the rest of Laos, you'll notice a lot of the signs are actually in French as well. The traditional names that used to be here, and then they translated into Korean, Chinese and English for the tourists, but pretty much a lot of them aren't actually in Lao language, which is very similar to Thai. Many of it is actually in French, which once again makes you feel like you're in a different country to an extent. It's just interesting. I've got to say, guys, this is more like it. When you Google Luang Prabang on Google Images, it seems like an ultra peaceful place. 2 streets back that way, it was the complete opposite, but when you know where to look, it definitely is just an incredible city just to walk around. It's extremely walkable as well. I think the population is like 30,000, so you can walk from one side to the other pretty easily. But it's got that mixture of sort of a touristy feel, but also a sort of local feel at the same time. Once again, depending on what street you choose to go down. Anyways, in front of me, we have the Mekong River, the mighty Mekong River that goes from all the way from Ho Chi Minh City in Vietnam, all the way up to here. Let's have a look. Really doesn't do justice to how big the Mekong River is, both in length but also the width. I mean, it takes about 15 minutes for one boat to get from this side, where the city Luang Prabang is, to the other side where the jungle is. Look at this, this almost looks like Kyoto in Japan really, doesn't it? Sabadi. You can just imagine what used to go on here. Colonial meetings between the French. It's really interesting to go back in time to a place like this and put yourself in there. You can just imagine everything. The music, the architecture, what the people would look like. Well, that was Laos, the mysterious country of Laos. What did you think? I think it was a very beautiful experience, very beautiful architecture, and very beautiful people. I'll see you guys in the next one, unfortunately in rainy old England. See you then.